that. Everybody, and welcome to the Bytes Show podcast. It is Tuesday the 13th, guys. Spooky Tuesday the 13th, December 13th, 2022. My name is LeGrand Jolly. This evening, guys, it's a full house. It hasn't been this way for months.
Oh, yeah.
We're feeling powerful.
I don't know when the last time was that we had all four of us here doing the thing at the same time. Here we all are. Let me introduce everybody, just because you forgot probably. Jeremy Lamont. Hello, Jeremy.
Hey, guys. Feeling like that moment in the Avengers movie when everybody comes back together for like the big fight scene at
Coming
the
through
end.
the portals. Yeah.
Girl power scene.
That's, yeah.
The girl power scene. Jared Dunn. Hello, Jared.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey, did you guys know today is 12/13/22, and that won't ever happen again for like 3 centuries or something.
It's the same forward and back.
Oh my gosh. It won't happen again until next century.
That's right.
3 centuries. How did you figure 3 centuries?
I mean, the next 2 don't count because they're gonna suck.
Today is the only day that you can post this on social media.
That's right.
The next 2 centuries are leap centuries.
There was a time traveler that came back in time from like 3 centuries in the future. He's like, hey, what century are we in? And I'm like, we're in the 21st century. He's like, oh no. And he went back. Anyway.
It's like, which 21st century? The first one or the second one?
There's Dale Jones as well. Say hello, Dale.
Hello.
Well, everybody, it's a full house. I don't know what we do. This show's going to be like 4 hours long. We're going crazy. It's the end of the year.
Yeah.
We have yet to really plan or even talk about internally our Game Bytes Awards.
We should probably do that.
This is it. Let's do it right now.
We've had an entire year to prepare.
On the fly.
How did we get to this point?
I am prepared. I am prepared to do it right now. If you guys want to just wing it, like I could. Totally
I am not.
I don't think I played any games this year, actually.
No games that came out this year, probably, right?
I played at least one.
Yeah,
a bunch of indie games that Jeremy played for like 10 minutes each.
If only there were some recap of the year website that would tell me.
Oh man,
what I played. Spoiler alert.
Or at least the past 2 weeks.
Let everybody else do their game of the year, and we'll just copy what they did.
That's a good idea.
Well, let's do
that's exactly what Jeremy does. He watches what everyone else does, and then he does the exact opposite.
Let's do a game of the year episode. Like, let's find the games of the year and find out who did the
we'll
best
listen
one.
to them all, and we're like, you know what? These guys really
Here's the only one you need.
It's like
we agree most with this one.
It's like those meta scientific studies that doesn't study anything itself other than the studies. Yeah.
Studies have shown. Cool. Well, everybody, I think we should get this started. This is going to be a long episode.
Yeah.
I have a feeling. There's some good news because we had the Keeleys that happened. Mm-hmm. Not as important as the Game Bytes, but they did end up happening. So we're going to talk about.
There's always got to be a second fiddle,
It's true.
Yeah.
You got your Coke and you got your Pepsi.
So do you guys want to hear one of my deep dark secrets?
Uh-oh.
Sure.
It's not really that deep dark of a secret, and it's not really a secret. It's for the listeners. They're not aware.
Whoa.
They're not aware of the inner workings of the Game Bytes Show. Okay.
Breaking.
Just to kind of pull apart the curtain a little bit so that people understand what we go through.
Pull back the kimono.
Yeah. There is an outline that we have, and everybody fills out the video games that they've played over the last couple of weeks in preparation, so that everyone's like, oh, I can learn about this whack game that Jeremy played, and I can think about it before we talk about it. You know what LeGrand does? He never fills it out. You want to know why?
It's the dumbest thing.
He does not want to be pre-shamed by the rest of the team here on the video games that he has been playing.
You make up for it in the post-shame, though.
I have been playing World of Warcraft expansion that just came out. Dragonflight. See, there it is already. You see what I deal with? This is why I don't ever put Heroes of the Storm, Diablo 3, Elden Ring, Heroes of the Storm, or World of Warcraft on there.
You got to start playing some other video games. That's all.
I play a lot of video games. Let's look at our list. We'll look at our list at the end of the year.
We'll see who is.
See who finished. I played 120 hours of Elden Ring apparently this year, according to PlayStation. Wow. Spoilers for the future. So WoW expansion came out, and I think I mentioned it last episode, right? That I kind of was dabbling again. Did I do that? I think I mentioned that, Jeremy.
I think so. I think you did.
Anyway, so Dragonflight is the name of this expansion. It came out 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I don't know exactly when it came out because I did not buy it right when it came out. In fact, as far as I knew, none of my friends were playing this game, right? I didn't think anybody was playing it, and I wasn't planning on playing it. The trailer that came out for it was uninteresting. Dragons in World of Warcraft, I really don't care. I just didn't care at all, right?
Yeah.
And so then my buddy Casey, friend of the program, Faulty Muffin, he actually works for Blizzard now, and he hasn't mentioned this on the in the Discord. I'm going to say it right now.
He did.
Oh, he did? Okay. Anyway, so he works for Blizzard now, and he was like, hey, I got WoW, World of Warcraft now. And I'm like, oh, you've never played WoW before, have you? He's like, nope. And I'm like, cool. Well, I guess I'll play with you and something like that. And so I ended up looking up just a video to see what was going on in Dragonflight. This is before I bought the game. This is before I subscribed. This is before any of that. And so I watched the video that a third party had made. And they talked about all the new stuff in World of Warcraft, and I was like, in this expansion, I'm like, you know what? That actually looks pretty all right. I think I'm going to bite the bullet and check it out. And so, if you recall, when I quit WoW last time and swore it off for the
you said never again, never again. You said
I think it was about a year ago.
Yeah, probably about that.
It's a pretty regular occurrence.
Well, yeah, expansions come out every 2 years, so I played for maybe 6 months.
Everybody's got that friend who's like, I can quit anything.
I pay for 6 months, and then I quit, and I say I'm never coming back, and then.
But then you go back again, like in the middle of the expansion's lifetime, before the next expansion comes out.
Right, exactly, and I pick up and I have all my buddies carry me through all the raids and stuff. Yeah. That's usually the grand way. This time I'm actually pretty early on, and so if you recall, I sold all of my gold that I was kind of working the auction house. I made a ton of money. I sold all that gold, and I got real dollars in my BattleNet balance. Well, I ended up using that to pay for this expansion, which was great.
You just made me remember that I forgot to get my 80 packs of Hearthstone cards.
Oh, dude. I did get those, and I opened them all, and I'm like, yep, still not playing Hearthstone. and then I closed it. Anyway, so one of the big things that they talked about in Dragonflight is that there is no more end game grind. I have a few major problems with video games in general, and this is the reason why I end up quitting video games. Is when a video game starts feeling like a job, like I'm logging in to any game just to log in, especially these online games as service games like WoW, like Destiny, like Survivors.io, like any number of games that has a recurring daily quest or daily challenge or daily whatever. And if I feel like I'm logging in just to log in and do that, it starts feeling like a job. That's when I quit. And that's when I quit WoW. Like when I quit WoW last time, I was logging in just to do the auction house. I'm like, why am I doing this? You know what I mean? And so one of the things I did with this game is like none of the end game grind is tied to any meaningful power level progression. So typically in the last several expansions, there's been like a mechanic you had to kind of keep up with. And if you didn't keep up with it, if you weren't in it very early and kept up with this progression and doing daily quests and turning in this item and earning this reputation with this faction or whatever, then slowly your character would start to fall behind and you would not be at maximum min-max power level to be able to do whatever you want to do in the game. And it feels bad. And so in this game, there is reputation to grind, but all of it is just to provide purely cosmetics. There's nothing tied to power, apparently, with that. That's one of my big beats with WoW is grindy stuff that forces you to log in to keep up with the Joneses and maintain your WoW. So I stopped. The other thing that's really cool in this expansion is the dragon flying stuff. This is something they talked about quite a bit. This is like next level, cool as hell.
WoW has always had flying mounts. So like
this is different. And so what makes this different is that, well, this is the Dragonflight, so you actually get a dragon mount. First of all, it's customizable. So as you play throughout the game, you kill bosses, you get certain drops, you do quests, you obtain achievements, you get different cuztomization options for your dragon. And that's all well and good. You can customize the color, the tail, the body style, the horns on its head, the different types of wings. Like there's a zillion different customization options for the dragons that you can customize. But the cool part is that they give you flying in the game right from the get-go. Typically in World of Warcraft expansions, they want you to explore the map and do all this stuff from the ground. And then by the time you get to the end of the expansion, eventually they unlock flying that you can then earn, which allows you to fly throughout the maps. In this game, they give you flying straight from the beginning, and they want you to explore the map flying around this time because it's been designed with this whole concept in mind of flying around. So there's different challenges with flying. There's races you can do. There's little items you can collect in the sky that you have like an overall progression for your, like a talent tree for your dragon per se. So as you obtain different these little tokens that you get out that are in the sky. You find them or throughout the world. You kind of earn that. But the cool part is that this flying mount doesn't behave like your typical flying mount in WoW. This mount is more like they call it what do they call it? Like inertia. Like when you dive and you gain speed, you can then boost back up, and you kind of have this little glide around. So it actually, if you just jump and fly, it's not going to stay in the air just by going straight. So it's not like a typical flying mount.
Right.
But if you jump off a high point, you start gliding, and then if you angle your nose down, you start speeding up, and then you can boost up into the sky.
So
and as you do that,
faster than your typical flying mount?
Oh, dude, yeah, it's so fast. It's amazing. Yeah, so it's really fun to kind of fly around. So sometimes you'll like get a quest marker, and it's like, hey, this quest marker is 1,000 meters that way, and historically you'd be like, well, damn it, now I got to run all the way over there, and it's going to take me 10 minutes. And now I just boost. So you just jump up in your flying mount and boost up into the sky, and then you just start just cruising over there. And it's just it's a really cool mechanic that feels really good. So again, like a lot of what I saw in this expansion that kind of got me excited is they took away a lot of the bullshit that kind of slows down the typical game of World of Warcraft. Now the whole storyline surrounds dragons and surrounds whatever, and take it or leave it, I think it's fine for what it is. It's nothing spectacular. But
does the flying mount stuff, does it retroactively go into the old zones, or is it only for the new one?
It's only for the new zone right now, I think. I'm hoping they add it to the other zones. So if you go into the old zone and try to use your mount, it says, nah, you can't do it. But the cool part is
there
that
a lore reason, or are they just like...
No, they just...
Dragons don't like that place.
Don't want you to. Or what I really think it is that the other areas in the old world are actually a lot smaller, the zones. Like there's only 4 zones in this new area, which typically there's like 7 or 8. And there's only 4, but they are massive. And so you're flying around these all over the place. So I think the old zones just aren't designed for the speed that you're kind of
where on the planet of Azeroth, right? Or like where is this located?
Well, if you look at the map before, just look for any empty zone, and that's probably where they added this new island.
So you don't
Dragon Isles. I don't know. It's in the upper right.
It's up there somewhere.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter.
So they haven't actually published a globe yet of the world of Azeroth.
Well, if you hit the map and you zoom out, it used to be Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdoms, right? And now then they added Pandaria, and then they added Northrend, and then they added
the place in the middle,
the Broken Shore, and then they the little
wherever Legion took place.
San Fran, Tokyo.
Yeah. San Fran. Yeah. Anyway, so it seems to be pretty good so far. I imagine, and I'm just predicting, like, the leveling experience of WoW through any expansion is always fantastic. It always feels good. The questing is good. The storylines are really interesting. But I will tell you, and this it's not really a spoiler, but what kind of really got me excited about the game is they kind of did a lot of interesting stuff with side content and side stories. And so I got up to the main dragon area where they're like hatching all the new eggs from the new dragon flights and all this stuff. All this lore stuff's going on. And the whole story of the game is that the dragons have been kind of beaten down over time, and the Drakthir, which is a race of dragon people, have been doing whatever. But now they're back, guys. They're back. It's been 10,000 years. They're back. They're better than ever. But the thing is they're dealing with the aftermath of Deathwing and all the shenanigans that he pulled during the Cataclysm, right?
Yeah.
And so I roll into this area, and there's this dude that's just chilling there, and it's a dwarf. And so the dragons, as in WoW fashion, they can transform from big, huge dragon aspect down into like human, so they can mingle with men, right? And so there's this dwarf dude just sitting on the edge of this big old cliff, and he's just kind of chilling there, and he has a quest marker over his head. And this is like not a story progression quest. This is just a thing. So I walk over and I start talking to this dragon, and the whole thing is like, the quest I think is called Stay a While and Listen. And it prompts you to kneel down next to this dwarf, and he just starts talking. And he just starts telling this really sad story about 10,000 years ago. He had this girl dragon he was really into, but she was part of the Black Dragon flight, and then Neltharion got bad. But it was like this really interesting story, and this music kind of went off, and the whole thing is he was just chilling, looking out across the vista. And it was something that was pretty cool, the way that they kind of had this side piece that was just kind of slowed down the game, where usually in WoW, it's like a lot of just kind of going as fast as you can, questing, just getting through the content, get to the end game. And a lot of the side content that I've found in this game, just side quests or whatever, have been really interesting, or at least well written, or at least it hasn't been like an afterthought like it has in the past. Like a lot of it is like, hey, I'm really mad. There's these frogs over here that stole my potatoes, and you got to go kill those frogs, right?
I love potatoes.
In this, the side content is more meaningful, impactful. Like I played matchmaker with a couple of centaurs, and I kind of set them up to meet each other, to propose to each other. And I did a quest where there was this girl who was being held down by her family, like she wanted to go explore the world, and I helped her escape, and she caused all this ruckus and having to go back and face the wrath of her parents. But it was like this really long quest line that was really involved, but all of it was kind of side content. And I've never seen anything like that in World of Warcraft before. Most of the side content has been kind of throwaway stuff. The main draw is the main story, and in this case, all the side content seems a little bit more meaningful, which is kind of cool. And I think that's a big difference in this expansion. So anyway, it feels good. Classic WoW. I'm sure it's probably still the same. Everyone's usually super hype right when the expansion comes out. A lot of new stuff to do, a lot of new things, the flying mounts. I'm just curious that once I get to the end game, I'll probably play it for a while and then quit, because again, it'll feel like I'm logging in just to do the thing, which I don't want to do. So for now, I'm having a good time though. And I would recommend it for anyone who's playing WoW to give it a shot, because I think it's all right. That's it.
Nice. That's nice. Well, I can kind of bounce off of that because I've been playing something that has a lot of dragons and flying in it. I've been playing for just a brief moment the Final Fantasy XIV free login campaign, and I think I'm finally just about on the cusp of getting to the Heavensward content.
Oh my gosh!
The last few times that they've done,
well, you got about 400 more hours left. So
I know the thing is, and I think Dale and I have talked about this before. Like the crossover, the bridge material from the first vanilla base game. I finally have seen my first dragon lady, so I think it's going to happen.
Whoa, dragon lady!
But I know, but she's all like covered up, so you can't tell. But if you know, you know. And so she's like, yeah. But they also have flying mounts, so I got a message in the system that's like, you can now fly, and I found out my chocobo can fly.
Every
all my little everybody flies, and like I can just fly over everything. So it
doesn't matter what kind of mount it is, whether it has wings.
That's right.
Or anything,
it'll just like go up there. Like I almost wish that, dude.
Flies.
I just want my guy to just like start like floating up. So World of Warcraft, eat your heart out. I am actually playing it though, and I've even gotten to the point where I'm resetting my macros and stuff because every time I log in, it's like 8 to 12 months later, and they've exactly. Well, not only that, but they rearrange all your abilities. So some of my stuff just doesn't exist anymore that used to. So I've got to refigure the whole thing. So anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. What I did play this week that I am interested to talk about is River City Girls, which is a 2019 beat 'em up kind of brawler, I guess. I'm not sure kind of what the genre name is called. I'm pretty sure they used to call them beat 'em ups. But it is a modern successor to the Kunio or the River City Ransom series back on the NES, and kind of in the same way that Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game, was a straight up take on River City Ransom. River City Girls is a modern and sort of self-aware kind of tongue-in-cheek version of.
Did you like that game, the Scott Pilgrim game, Jeremy?
I loved it. Yeah. Did you not like it?
How?
Because it was like River City Ransom, and we didn't have anything like it.
It was so boring.
No, dude, it was just like River City Ransom, and it was great.
So it was boring? Is River City Ransom boring too?
River City Ransom was the same sort of thing. So it's like a double dragon style.
Yeah, but it was so slow. It was really slow.
It is slow, but you also have kind of the go around sort of it was an open world on the NES, right? Because you could just go around town and the map was static, and you could go into shops when your health was low. So the thing about this sort of game is that it's not a beat 'em up in the way that Castle Crashers is, for example, where maybe Castle Crashers isn't a great example, but you basically go until you die and then you kind of start over. This game kind of wants you to persist by getting money to go into shops to buy unlocks for in the dojo. You buy new moves, you get health items, you get little buffs and bonuses out of whatever consumer goods they might be selling there. So you get a mini skirt or something, and it gives you 1.5% damage against boys or something like that. And that's what this game is. And so it wants you to kind of think in the medium to long term, because if you ever party wipe, if you ever die, you lose half your money. So you kind of want to keep
that.
And the thing is that whenever you, famously, the River City Ransom games, if you beat someone up, they would have a little exclamation or something. First of all the dudes were named, so there was like Barry and Tim and Boffo or whatever. And when you beat them up, they would be like barf or something, and they would exclaim and then expire. And then they would leave some money behind, and Scott Pilgrim was just like totally like winking at that whole thing. Plus it had a soundtrack by Anna Monoguchi, which was just,
that's the best part of the game. Nothing else is good about it.
So this game kind of has the same sort of thing going for it. It wants to stay true to that formula. So in this game, it kind of changes the odds around. In the original River City Ransom on the NES, you play as Alex and Ryan, which they Americanized the whole thing, and the girlfriend was Cindy, and the villain who kidnaps her is Slick. In this game, they sort of lean into the whole Kunio. All the characters have Japanese names. So you play as Misako and Kyoko, and you can play 2 players locally. There's no online, or you can play as just a single player. And the same kind of idea happens where the boys get kidnapped, and so the girls have to go and
shoes on the other foot.
That's right, girl power. And it basically follows the same general idea. You have in the original game, there was sort of a punch and kick and then like a special move. This does the same thing. You have a light attack, a heavier attack, and then any combination of buttons and Street Fighter-esque stick combinations, and a special move that will drain an energy meter, but then as you hit people, it kind of fills back up. So they want you to be able to use your special moves, but not too much, The voice acting, it's fully voice acted, very cute. The voice actors that they picked for all the characters do a really good job. Everybody was very well directed. The music is done by a number of composers, including Megan McDuffie, who does. So do you guys remember Double Dragon Neon? How Double Dragon Neon kind of did the same kind of thing, and everybody's like, wow, it's amazing. It's, cassette tapes, you collect them, and there's music, and I can't remember even who the musician was, the composer, but the same kind of thing here, where they have a bunch of kind of well-known music composers from the video game scene. Megan McDuffie is the kind of the lead composer, I guess, but she does some fully voiced pop songs. Like there's an intro pop song that plays over the anime at the beginning. But then sometimes during the levels, it'll just be like a real song playing over the mall PA system or the mall speakers or whatever. And it kind of changes up the musical tone in the same way that Double Dragon Neon kind of did that thing with the 80s. This kind of does that too. Other composers, Chipsel, Dale North is involved in this. And the package overall is just really enjoyable. The aesthetic is just really good. All of the same ideas apply. You can pick up weapons, smash people with them, accidentally smash yourself or your friend with them. You can turn on frenemy mode or whatever, friendly fire mode. The other thing, though, that they've done that's kind of cool is that randomly sometimes the last dude on a locked screen. So it's not only left to right. There's a whole interlocking series of ups and downs, and there's a map that you can always go and reference. You actually have an inventory, so you can take health items with you, which is kind of nice. You can customize your character, and like I said, different little bonuses will apply based on those. But sometimes when you get to a locked screen, you just have an arena to fight dudes. Sometimes one of them will start begging, and you can recruit him to be a special sort of like Marvel versus Capcom 2, how you could call in an assist character. So they do that with this too. And so it's always fun when you find a new tough kind of character that gets introduced to suddenly have the ability to call that character in to do either an area of effect attack or a dizzying attack. Some of them will throw smoke bombs or throw dirt or whatever. The bosses, so there are boss fights, and again, the story is very discreetly, there's a main path that you can go on and little side quests and things. But they'll reference all kinds of things from previous series. So they'll reference from Double Dragon Neon. There was Skullmageddon, I think, who was kind of the over-the-top Skeletor character. In this game now, he runs a flea market, and he'll sell you a suspect golden lucky cat. There's also an Abobo, and they'll just make references to characters that are from Double Dragon and from sort of beat 'em up games in general.
Billy and Jimmy Lee?
Yeah. So Billy or Jimmy, I think it is. Not Billy, the red one, the one who's wearing red. He runs the dojo, and he's like, I miss my brother so much, or whatever. And, if you are familiar with it, that, it's kind of funny. And I'm like, I was playing with my daughter, my 14-year-old, and I'm like, oh, that's a reference. She's like, I'm like, oh, there's a Bobo. And she's like, is this a game or something from before? And I'm like, oh, a Bobo is not as much of a character as he is a phenomenon. He's a cultural icon. Because, there are also many Abobos. Like, it's not just an Abobo. You can fight several Abobos at a time.
Oh, yeah, there's always an Abobo. There's always a lighthouse as well.
Exactly. There's always an Abobo, always a lighthouse. The thing about the game, though, is that I found that the longer I played it, like, I did enjoy unlocking new moves. I had a hard time sometimes figuring out how to execute them. They have just like in a fighting game, they'll have a move set that you can go and reference. But sometimes some of the more complicated ones, I couldn't figure them out. Like, there's aerial attacks that you can do. Kyoko can do like these. So she's sort of a Letterman jacket girl. She has like sports-based moves. Because the two characters, Misako and Kyoko, have different. Misako is sort of like a Wednesday Addams kind of like low energy, sarcastic, snarky kind of person. Kyoko is kind of more of an earnest, bubbly girl who does sports and things. It just was kind of hard sometimes to figure out exactly what the moves were doing. And sometimes I couldn't figure out why I wasn't hitting. And it's not because I'm bad at video games, but I felt like I was bad at video games. So I got more frustrated the longer my play session was. If I stopped and came back to it, for whatever reason, I would kind of have calmed down. But after playing like 3 hours, 4 hours, I just started getting really upset. But I did enjoy it. I would go back and play it, except I was playing it on a Switch Online free trial period. So that's expired. But the reason that they've done that is that River City Girls 2 comes out in 2 days. So they wanted to kind of, they're going to add more girls in River City Girls.
Oh my gosh.
Too.
More river, more city, more girls.
Girls. But the soundtrack is on vinyl from a couple years back. The new one is coming out on vinyl as well, so I'll be sure to check that out as soon as I have the opportunity. But again, one of the recent lineage of really great resurgence of the brawler genre, and I think this holds up with some new ideas, good presentation, and overall lots of fun. So River City Girls.
All right. Well, Dale, what do you got for us, man?
Can't hear him.
Dale, did you mess up your audio there? Yeah, he must have opened Steam.
Great.
Gonna mark this on the timestamp. Dale, open Steam.
Classic.
Not yet. Some of that special.
I wonder
content.
if to fix it, he just needs to open like the Epic Games Store or something.
He's been able, he says he's going to reboot Discord. Just keep your recording going. Jared, what have you been playing?
Hey, so I've been playing a brand new game that came out last week called Ixion.
Huh.
So Ixion
sounds like a Jared game.
It is a fantastic game. You're right. So Ixion is
that's not what I meant.
Is a mix of a city builder and survival game, I guess. It's like Frostpunk, but in space. How about that?
All right.
So
okay. That's really cool.
Yeah. So the gist is you're basically the administrator. Kind of a lame title, but you're the administrator on the Tycoon, which is a space station that has some fancy new engine to like travel to other galaxies or whatever. And then there's like a terrible accident and Earth's destroyed, blah, 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 blah. And so you're like the last people alive on the space station. And it's kind of neat the way they've set it up. So, you start off, it's a space station that's like the classical donut, right? And then it spins to create gravity. And so as you get bigger, you have to expand to other sections of the ring and like transfer, like manage goods between the different sectors. And there's like you build like spaceships to go on like these scientific missions to like explore planets and like abandoned stations and all this kind of stuff. And it's hard.
Tell me there are xenomorphs. Like this sounds like it's ripe for a Dead Space crossover. If it's like what's the survival part of it? Are you like personally surviving or like surviving as a people?
Surviving as like a people, and so your space station, the Tycoon, will slowly lose health, basically. Like its hull will get damaged over time, so you have to spend resources to maintain that. The people that live on this space station are in a really bad state. They get upset at the smallest of things. But
oh man,
so
you can't reduce my budget. You'll regret this.
Yeah. So I mean, they get upset when like there's like an accident at the steel mill. I'm like, come on.
They'd get immediately on social media and like flame Jared.
Yeah, exactly. So you're managing that. You're managing resources, which get like increasingly hard to find certain things.
Oh
yeah. And it's really good.
So is there any conflict in it, or is it mostly just managing resources and trying not to?
Yeah, there's no combat. It's all just city building, and
everybody hold your breath because this section is running out of life support.
Yeah, I mean that happens sometimes. You run out of power, and so to generate power, you have to go external to the space station and build more solar panels. And
so, is there a win state? Is there like a goal or something?
I don't know. I've gotten nowhere near it. So my first playthrough, I didn't even make it out of the solar system, and so my hull was about to fall apart, but the people mutinied before. So
I mean, at least it makes it looks like it's not your incompetence that's that's the end of the colony.
That's right. It's just because they were rude.
They're meanies.
But it's pretty fun. I actually am enjoying it a lot. I don't know. It's Frostpunk in space. So if you enjoyed that, where it's like, oh, you're kind of fighting the game itself, like the elements that you're immersed in, it's pretty neat. It's got a little bit of exploration to it. Like I know you do go to different like solar systems as the game progresses, and they have their own sets of challenges like space weather. But,
I saw this advertised in my Steam login. Is this a new thing, or is it on some sort of?
Yeah, it just released, I think, this past week.
Oh wow! Okay,
yeah,
cool. So are they still developing it, or is it early access? Or,
no,
I mean everything's early access. So.
No, I believe it's a 1.0 straight release. Yeah, 100%.
Come on, nobody does that anymore.
Yeah, it's weird. It's pretty good. I'm liking it a lot. I mean, it's a genre I enjoy, and it can get a little stressful, but whatever.
It seems like it's more stressful in space.
It's pretty intense, because it's like right now I really am trying to expand into a second sector, but I'm having an issue with alloy, with metal. And
having your colonists sucked into the vacuum of space?
Because it's the alloy. Yeah, exactly. The alloy that repairs your hull. So you're constantly burning it. And I can now mine asteroids for iron to make the alloy. But it's not very fast. And I just am not getting ahead. So it's just like I'm just keeping even. And I'm like, this is going to kill me, isn't it?
You got to run as fast as you can to just stay in place. If you want to get anywhere, you've got to run twice as fast.
That's right. So just, I don't know, just trying to get to the next phase here.
Just like real life.
Yep, basically. So Ixion, neat little game. It's out on Steam.
Nice.
Cool. Well,
part two.
Just minor update here. I guess the main thing is I've been playing some Dark Tide, and been enjoying that.
I've been playing a bunch of Dark Tide too.
I have not been playing as much Dark Tide as I would like to, just because I've been distracted with a bunch of other stuff. But what I have played, I got to about, I think, like level 8 with my Psyker character, and I've just been doing nothing but the quick match. Just throw me in whatever mission is almost done that needs one more guy.
Does it have a campaign, or is it? It's
no,
just
it's well, I mean, it does, but it's like the campaign is all random missions, and like as you go along, as you gain levels, there'll be like a cutscene as you're kind of like rising through the ranks a little bit.
I kind of like the way they did it, to be honest. Instead of having like, oh, here's the campaign, but you never play the missions in the right order, like in Vermintide. Right. This one, it's like these missions are just happening all the time, and your character progresses as you gain trust levels of trust is what they call them. And so like when you hit level 8, then you'll unlock a new like new store or something, or crafting or whatever it is.
New class of weapons. Like Jeremy, like imagine like you're the cops, right? And you're just on duty, and then every day random stuff happens, and over time you become more of a veteran, and stuff never stops happening. And over time, maybe your career develops in a little bit in a limited way. But
and now imagine you're a cop with a chainsword.
Yes.
Nice. And you've got a new partner, but he's a Saint Bernard, and it's the last day before you're going to retire. But they put you in for one last job.
Instead of paws, he has chainsword arm.
All right. Okay.
Psychic slobber.
So my favorite thing about Darktide is the Ogryn's voice lines. The Ogryn is like this massive, beefy, giant guy. He sounds in some of his lines exactly like the heavy weapons guy from Team Fortress 2, and it is so good.
I like it. We need that guy back.
Yeah, I don't think I've played at all with the Ogryn. Like I never played with them. I've only played a handful of rounds, but no one's ever that guy.
I've had a bunch of them in the rounds that I've played.
Pretty good. I've played about 20 hours. I think my Zealot Preacher is level 19. Something like that. Okay. So
pretty well advanced. Have you noticed the ability of the teammates to work together and do things, coordinate, getting better as levels get higher?
Yes. Like coordinate in what way? Like form a barrier together, or
well, you kind of need to cooperate.
Yes and no.
4-player PvE sort of.
I've noticed that when people want to play as a team, they do pretty good. Then you'll get into a match where it's just there's one or two knuckleheads just running off, and you're like, why am I even here? So
a lot of the like passive abilities and things depend on you being in a group, because like. I have one that buffs up everybody around me, like it gives them extra toughness or something. I don't know. And so if people would read what the abilities do, they might naturally play the game in a way that's conducive to succeeding. But they don't read.
No. So my favorite thing to do is on the Preacher. I run around with the power hammer and I don't know what they call it, the flamethrower, and. Oh man, you just start with the flamethrower, and it's just like bathe in holy flame. Scum.
Is there friendly fire? Because like sometimes I'll accidentally shoot somebody.
On
my team, and it gives you the blue cursor. It's like
maybe at like higher levels, but I know that where I'm playing, it's
Yeah. Okay. Cool game though. I've been enjoying that, and otherwise I've been continuing on my journey in Elite Dangerous. I'm just like driving. It's like when I put this game on, it's like I'm just going in a line to like a random spot that I picked in the galaxy, and encountering what I see on the way there.
Dale's just out there space trucking.
Exactly. I love it. It's great. It's you can sit there and just think about things, or like listen to a podcast while you're jumping from star to star, and every once in a while you'll find like an Earth-like planet that nobody's found before. Stuff like that. So.
I just cannot, like, just to zone out while your ship is flying through space and you're like listening to a podcast and you're just thinking about things.
It's very good.
Space trucking.
Hey,
if you stumble across a space station called the Tycoon, please bring me some metal.
I actually made as a destination, because in the game they have these fleet carriers now. Like players can purchase these like gigantic like space installations. Like imagine like if your individual spaceship is like a car, those like giant ships, or like a ferry that you can drive on, and like be towed across the bay or whatever. They have these that players can own, and they cost like just an obscene amount of credits. And there's like a weekly fee that gets taxed out of your account also. So like there's like upkeep involved, right? But what happens is like you can take it anywhere in the galaxy, because these things can jump like 500 light years at a time, which is absurd, right? It's like crazy. And so these players that have been playing this game a lot, that have a lot of these credits, they bought these and they've stationed them like at just like random spots around the galaxy. And they're convenient because then you can like fly in there, you can sell all your exploration data, you can maybe buy like some modules for your ship if they have any, or basically it's just kind of like useful as like a staging point, because then you can kind of come back to it and like, say you find one and then you're like, I'll just stay around this area of space and I'll like, check out what's on the surface of some of these planets, like look for some rare xenobiological materials or something. And, if it doesn't work out, I'll just come back here and I'll switch out my modules again and then go and do something else. But yeah, so it's, because in that game, if you die, you risk losing like effectively all the progress since your last time
Basically,
that you docked at another station. Yeah, so anyway, I've made it most of the way out to the sector of the galaxy that I want to get to like basically tag. You know how people go to Four Corners National Park and like, jump across and say, oh, I'm in Arizona now.
The actual place, the monument, is not actually at the Four Corners geologically or geographically. So just a little spoiler alert for.
It's like
ruined my childhood.
A little ways away from there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's not like too far away though.
I think it's just some sort of, well, I don't know. I don't go to those tourist traps. I mean, state lines are just imaginary anyway, man. Like, what are we doing observing these
animals?
Political. Yeah, that's right. They'll poop
they don't
anywhere.
Observe. Tumbleweeds don't observe.
That's right.
Anyway, that's what I'm playing in Elite Dangerous. Is like I'm like looking at the galaxy map, going, "There's a zone there that I haven't been to. I got to go out to that zone, and just like stick my ship's nose over the line, and then immediately turn around and go back." Yeah.
Wow.
That's pretty much what I'm doing.
It's such a weird phenomenon.
It's very therapeutic or something.
I need a game like that. I just got to find what it is.
Yeah, you do. Everybody does.
It's probably some like horrible, anxious space survival simulator.
It's probably a Zachtronics game. You need to play like Opus Magnum or something.
Maybe, Jeremy, that game you're looking for is listed here in our games that are new releases for this week.
Could be.
Yeah.
Probably is. I mean, they usually are.
Yeah. We get our games from tech-gaming.com because we're too lazy to do it ourselves. Here we go. I'm going to list them off, and I'm not going to say anything about them. Y'all can just figure it out. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, Warhammer 40,000, Shoot His Blood and Teeth with an F.
That's the console release of that game.
Yeah, wasn't that a mobile game?
It came out on PC a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Dale played it a little while ago.
All right.
Yep.
Dragon Quest Treasures, Jurassic World Evolution 2, Dominion Malta expansion. I added this gem, Raptor Boyfriend, a high school romance.
Are you sure that's not a leaked Destiny gun? Raptor Boyfriend?
I don't know, but I think, between this and Panzer Dating or whatever, we're set. And Dwarf Fortress out on Steam.
Wow. Dwarf Fortress? Has that thing been in early access for like 10 years? Or are they finally, this is
more like 20 years.
It has a whole new visual art. Like it actually has art.
I follow the creator on Twitter. He's like a super interesting guy. And he's like, yeah, I guess we're going to release this now.
It's out. You can buy it. It's $30 on Steam.
How about that?
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Leaked new Destiny guns allegedly.com. We got an email late last night from Bungie asking us, begging us not to mention these, but
they found out they're onto it.
Well, here we go. Chained Echoes.
All right.
That's a good one. Witch
like
on the Holy Night.
I like that too.
And Solar Ash, which Solar Ash is great because there's like that whole solar line of abilities, right?
It's funny because it's a void shotgun.
Yeah, exactly. Deals and freebies. We don't have anything listed, but hey, GOG's just started their like holiday sale. Looks like some decent stuff over there.
Amazon Gaming for Prime people, they're going to be doing a thing starting like the 27th all the way through January, like giving away a bunch of new stuff. So
Epic is also doing their bunch of giveaways starting like tomorrow, I think.
I think that's right. So everybody keep an eye on our Discord server. We'll keep.
Or if you're like me and it's after midnight today.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, I'm getting the message. Let's truck on through these. So the Jeff Keighley's happened, and some games won some things. We're gonna just run through those really quickly. Game of the year, Elden Ring, taking it over God of War Ragnarok, which I guess it's a thing that you can vote on. Unfortunately, Stray did not win Game of the Year. I'm afraid. Best game direction. Yeah. By the way, I think I'll just observe this before we all jump in on this. This whole game award thing, it's like the same game wins like 10 of the awards. We realize it's a big, huge, steamrolling thing of popularity. But and I'm not just saying that because Elden Ring won everything. Best game direction went to Elden Ring again over God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, and Immortality.
I think it deserves it.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Best narrative though went to God of War Ragnarok, which does
not go to Elden Ring for sure.
Yeah, right. Although I have seen on social media like this big, like narrative doesn't have to be explicit. There's a bunch of narrative in Elden Ring, and like someone's, going over all the.
Fine. It's not as good.
They've said that about all the Souls games.
Yeah. Art direction also went to Elden Ring over again the same. God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray. Stray got nominated for a lot of stuff this year, which is kind of weird to me. Best score and music went to Bear McCreary for God of War Ragnarok. I think we lamented this category when these were first announced. Olivier de Rivière, A Plague Tale Requiem, the Elden Ring guy, Tsukasa Saito, Two Feathers, who did Metal Hellsinger, and Yasunori Mitsuda, who I guess is just on here for, I don't know why. I'm looking at IGN's list, and it's just Yasunori Mitsuda, which I don't know. He probably should have won.
Maybe so. He's just in every game.
Let me skim through some of these. Best ongoing game went to Final Fantasy XIV. Best indie game went to Stray. Best debut indie game went to Stray. Best mobile game, Legrand, Marvel Snap won over Diablo Immortal, Genshin Impact, and other kinds of things.
I think it deserves it over that. Why? So Genshin Impact is an old game. Why are some of these games on here? This is what I noticed in these listings, that there's some games that were on there that didn't seem like they were from this last year.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, even community support has stuff like Apex Legends, Destiny 2.
But those games kind of make sense. But I mean, like, best whatever, Marvel Snap. Why is Genshin Impact nominated this year for best mobile game?
That is kind of interesting. Maybe we stopped releasing mobile games and none of us noticed.
Did it just come out on mobile?
No, I played it.
I think it came out on mobile. Yeah, I think it came out on mobile first. Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure. Let's see. Best action game went to Bayonetta 3. Best action adventure game, which nobody knows what that category means, went to God of War Ragnarok. Best RPG went to Elden Ring. Are we okay with that? Is that okay? Is
sure.
It an RPG?
Best RPG. I don't know what other. I mean,
one of the
what was nominated? What were the nominees?
Live Alive.
Live Alive.
What is that?
Yeah.
Never heard of
that's
that crap.
No, that's an older game.
It was like a remake.
Yeah. Pokemon Legends Arceus Triangle Strategy, which seems like a strategy game. It's in the title. And then Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Did we not have any RPGs this year? I guess Elden Ring.
Anyway, every game's an RPG at this point.
Best fighting game went to WB Multiverses.
Come on, guys.
No, it's right. Gran Turismo 7 won Best Sports Racing Game. Best Sim/strategy game did not go to Triangle Strategy, which wasn't even nominated, apparently. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope won that one.
Guys. Come on.
Best multiplayer game.
Victoria 3. I don't know, man. Come on. That's so
come on, Victoria 3 is fine, but it's no Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
Nobody who has ever played Victoria 3 has ever been to the Game Awards.
That's the issue.
There's a particular type of nerd at home going, why did Victoria 3 not come out on top of this category?
It should have.
They're wearing their helmets, so it sounds more like this because they're wearing their full scale mail. Splatoon 3 took it for best multiplayer game. And then we get into a bunch of esports stuff that I'm just going to scroll past this.
Yeah, just skip all of that.
Hold on. Most anticipated game went to The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
That's a nod from me, dog.
Winning over Starfield, Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy,
I'm sure.
and Resident Evil 4.
Every single one of those games I'm more interested over whatever one.
How about this? Best adaptation. So this is like TV shows and movies. Arcane, League of Legends, won over Cyberpunk, the Cuphead show, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and Uncharted, the movie. And that's everything that we want to talk about in that area. However, also, in addition to the awards themselves, we had a bunch of announcements and things. I got to admit, I didn't actually watch this, so I don't know. LeGrand says that you had seen some of these, so I don't know if there's some that you specifically want to pick out here, but
Hades 2.
Yeah, Hades 2 was announced. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
It's fine, I guess. I don't know.
Diablo 4 got a release date.
I like that when Supergiant, it seems like every game they've done has been something different. So this is like their first time ever doing a sequel,
that's true.
Which is exciting and disappointing at the same time, because they've always had really unique, cool takes on.
And everyone's been good. They haven't released a bad game yet.
Exactly. Yeah. I played every single one of them. So anyway.
Death Stranding 2.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. I'm all about that. Dude, yeah. I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but for some reason I watched that trailer. I'm like, yeah, this is my jam. Like,
really? Hideo Kojima said that
walking simulator.
Yeah, he said that he developed this during the COVID pandemic, but then he said he totally rewrote it because he didn't want to predict any more future like he did in Death Stranding 1, I guess. Everybody remember that autumn when the time rain fell on all of us.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Well, everyone was inside, so we didn't see it. We were all locked up
That's true. Except for my Amazon driver, who continued to bring me things, even though there were like oil whales floating around.
Exactly. Death Stranding. It was exactly. Yeah. They had a Diablo 4 trailer, which I looked at and I'm like, I do not even want to watch this at all. It looks so boring and dumb.
But it's so dark and there's like icky things.
But Diablo 4, so I mean, I watched the trailer, legit. I like scanned through it, like, is there anything interesting in this trailer? The answer was no.
Yeah, that's true.
And so I give away too much ahead of time anyway.
Yeah.
Also
had a few release dates. Diablo's coming out June 6th. We have here Final Fantasy 16 coming out June 22nd. So you're going to have, exactly 2 weeks to play Diablo before Final Fantasy 16 comes out.
Anyway. Really? That's kind of a bummer.
Apparently, like somebody was pointing out, I think
one will get delayed.
Both of them.
Apparently next year is just like back to back for at least like the first half of the year. So look forward to that. Lastly, in our big boy news here, all of the video game platforms except for Microsoft are coming out with the personal recap for 2022. PlayStation and Nintendo anyway are doing this, and they have little websites that you can go to kind of look at your personal history. And whether or not you have those, I just kind of was interested to talk about very briefly how your breakdown for the year seems to you, which platforms you had played on or what have you. For me, I'll just run into this really quickly. Interesting for me, Sony tells me that my breakdown of PS4 to PS5 games almost exactly split down the middle. I played 10 more hours overall than last year, which is only 95 hours. I didn't quite crack 100. 47 hours playing PS5 titles, 48 hours playing PS4 titles. Then they give you a bunch of kind of crap community. I've crafted 10 million smoke bombs this year. My number one game, Returnal, and my number 3 game, Rock Band 4, number 4, Marvel's Avengers, and number 5, The Last of Us Part 2. My favorite genre of the year was shooters. Over on Nintendo's platform on the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, shooters. I like them shooters. And then on the Nintendo Switch, my top 3 games, Mario Party Superstars, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which, by the way, the new tracks came out. Super cool there. And then the game that I played at launch, Chocobo GP, and I'm very ashamed of all of that.
I don't know how you only played less than 100 hours of video games on the PlayStation. What did you play games on?
I think I was playing mostly on the Xbox this past year. I mean, everything was on Game Pass. That was my go-to for almost everything except for Sony stuff specifically.
I wish they had something like that for Xbox. I would love to see how much Game Pass. And again, I mean, it would be really interesting. And actually, Microsoft would probably benefit from this if they showed everybody, hey, remember that service you pay us for every month? Like, here's what you got out of it.
Here's what you got out of it.
I think that would be pretty cool. So I think I played quite a bit of Microsoft games as well. I played just under 300 hours of PlayStation games, dominated largely by Elden Ring, which I put 120 hours into. So,
oh wow, nice.
121 hours. It was 41% of my gameplay time on the PlayStation 5. I also played through all of Last of Us 2, according to this. But yeah, top games. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is in there. Assassin's Creed Origins is in there, and of course, Stray.
Nice.
Stray is in there, making my top 5.
Game of the Year nominee, Stray.
These are, of course, PlayStation games. So I mean, I've played most of my games on PC this year, and I try to think about what games I actually played a lot of this year, and it's hard to think back. I think I just played a lot of Elden Ring at the beginning of the year, and that kind of dominated the first quarter.
Yeah, that was like February or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, that came out in February for sure. So yeah, I don't know. I have to look back and go determine like what I'm going to put on my list, or what are even the modern games that I played that came out this year. I think Jared probably played the most out of all of us.
I'm actually curious to know from Jared how it splits down to your Steam Deck versus like your desktop PC.
So so I've actually been on the Steam Deck quite a bit lately, just because like, I don't know, I've been at work a ton. I get home and like the last thing I want to do is sit down at a desk again.
Right. Yes.
And it's like,
yes.
So I've been playing a ton of games, but there's games like I've seen and heard that Dark Tide runs well on the Steam Deck, but I'm like,
really?
I don't want to play it that way. So
I don't think I'd want to play it that way either.
There's certain games that I just don't want to touch on it. So
interesting.
When I go to play on the Steam Deck, I'm playing things typically like your like 2D side scrollers or adventure games, things that are a little more
Vampire Survivors.
Yeah, Rogue Genesia or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that game was good.
Rogue G.
So things like that, kind of smaller games, I guess, but I don't know. So it's
And Dale this year at least has at probably a non-zero percentage of VR played this year, which I think
absolutely non-zero. I mean, it's probably not 1%, but it's non-zero.
It is a percent.
It is some percentage. If I look back at this year, I'm looking for like 20. What did I play that was a 2022 game?
Well, the beautiful thing is for this year, it doesn't even have to be. It's just what did you play?
That's true. Like for this, it is kind of
Outlands.
99. Yeah, Jared's going to be Outlands. Dale's going to be Elite Dangerous.
Yeah, it's for this year. It's got to be Elite Dangerous. Although I did play a decent amount of Assassin's Creed Origins this year.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, when did I play all that Battle Sector? That was last year, wasn't it? The 40K Battle Sector game. I did play a lot of the Armageddon game.
Oh yeah, I played that Prophecy game.
The Inquisitor Martyr.
Here's one for Dale.
A lot of that too.
What do you think the percentage split is between Warhammer games versus non-Warhammer games?
It might be almost 50-50.
50-50.
Because that's only because I put so much time into Elite and Assassin's Creed, right?
It's putting the thumb on the scale there a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and then like if you look at other war games, I've been playing a lot of those too, like Unity of Command and Battle Brothers is on here. Oh, the Shrouded Isle. I played a lot of that game. That was pretty cool. I put 9 hours on that. Yeah, I don't know, just a lot of older stuff. Just because this year I didn't really buy a whole lot of new games. I was just kind of like, whenever the mood would strike, I'd go back into my library and be like, I haven't tried that yet. So
that's a certain kind of discipline too. Like I will just like skim over that stuff like I have for the last 12 years and been like, nah, today's not the day yet.
Yeah, I played VVV. I played some Devil Daggers, like a lot of old favorites.
How about that?
Some Fall Guys. Picked that up. I think I picked that up. It's not a 22 game, but I did get it this year. I think because my girls wanted to play it, and that's pretty fun.
Cool. Well, folks, if you're out there and you've got some personal statistics of your own, let us know all about those. But that is going to do it for the main part of our show. We're going to close things off with the new speed run. Start that music.
Amazing.
Microsoft is saying, sure, they can put Call of Duty on PlayStation Plus as long as Sony agrees Microsoft is not a monopoly.
Say it, Sony.
Sega.
Hogwarts Legacy delayed on previous gen consoles.
Don't even release it at this
Switch.
point on previous
Including the
consoles.
Nintendo Switch.
Including
I'm
the
actually
Nintendo
surprised
Switch.
that they're even planning on putting it on the Switch. So good.
Switch
good
is not
for-
last gen. That's a slap in the face.
Who dares such slander in our news document?
The Switch came out in 2017. Last gen consoles came out in 2013. Thank you.
All right, fair enough.
Well, Returnal coming to PC, and Sony says that you need 32 gigabytes of RAM in order to play it.
That's insane.
32 gigabytes of RAM is last gen.
It's because all of those little wiggly plants that are all over.
I'm going to look up the Steam hardware survey and tell you how many people have that.
How many people
I've got
do it?
16.
I do, but whatever. An Among Us clone.
13% of people have,
Nice.
or 15% of people have at least 32 gigs of RAM.
That's the hardcore.
Goose Duck follows in Among Us footsteps by getting on Steam's most played list thanks to Korean streamers.
I have not heard of Goose Duck until today, but apparently it's going to be big.
Weird.
Goose Duck. You can watch 30 to 40 minutes of Marvel's Midnight Suns animated content. I don't know, is this like a series or something? Anyway, it's on YouTube. A bunch of prequel content there.
I don't
I've
know
heard
this
there's
is
like-
horrible crap to watch.
It's like transmedia stuff or what? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I do not
Come
know.
on, dude.
No,
Like X-Men cartoons are big. It's going to be great.
they were big. All that
That's
stuff's
what I'm
on.
talking about.
Is that on HBO or Disney Plus? It's on one of those, right?
I think it's on Disney.
Yeah, I think it is on Disney. Disney owns Fox, I'm pretty sure, and I think that was
Yeah.
a Fox thing.
Okay.
Yeah. New giant Valheim dragon bugs are destroying players' elaborate and fortified player bases as they were designed to do. I put this on here because I still feel like Dale is holding a torch for Valheim. I could be wrong about this, but just be aware, Dale.
I like that game, but I haven't played it in a while. But yeah, I'm sure if I log back into the game, dragon bugs will have been peeing on
Munch. I recently got Valheim.
Did you? You guys should play that. I want to see the big base that you guys built together.
I refunded Valheim. I refunded 2 games in my life. One was Valheim and one was
that's
Bloodborne.
right.
They're both games.
You have
Wow.
no taste.
Both games
Oh,
that Dale
no.
loves. So
You know,
sorry.
the weirdest
not
thing is on refunds. I refunded a game a couple weeks ago. I was like, I played it for a couple hours. I'm like, nah, this is not good. I don't like this. Like a week later, I was like, no, I changed my mind. I bought it again.
You bought it again?
And it wasn't on sale anymore. You got screwed.
It was on sale still.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah.
a Canadian court has decided that a Fortnite class action lawsuit may proceed because Epic knowingly made the game addictive, which shame.
Oh, Canada.
Shame.
Canada.
Speaking of shame, a lost Sega amusement park game starring Michael Jackson with FMV was found at a flea market, and the videos are up on YouTube. Enjoy.
Cool.
Yeah, nice. Guys, that is going to do it for your speedrun news. That's going to do it for this episode of your Game Bytes Show podcast. Thanks very much for making it to the end of this chunky episode, 30 minutes full of video game content that you know and love.
It was nice and tight too.
It was super tight, 30 minutes. If you have any comments about the games we played, if you want to share with us the games that you're playing, anything from the news or anything in your personal 2022 reminiscence that you'd like to share with us, let us know all about that. You can find us on social media collectively at Game Bytes Show on Twitter. You can reach out to us individually. I am at Jeremy_Lamont.
You can find me at Legrand.
I'm at Count Elmdor.
I'm at red_I.
See us do this thing live over at youtube.com/GameByteShow. Everybody wave to YouTube. Yeah, there we go. Hey, YouTube. You can see us live, ring that bell, and be notified when we go live. You can also find our website, GameByteShow.com, where you'll find the back catalog of all of our syndicated episodes, as well as a standing link to our Discord server. Come join us there. And again, we've got a season of freebies coming up, and that is the place where we will keep notes on all of the free stuff.
You should go hit up and listen to last year's Game Bites. That way you're prepared for this year's.
That's right for old. Exactly. I probably better do that because I've got to figure out.
I know. I'm like, oh, don't do the same game twice.
Wait, we've got our predictions at the bottom of the document here. So
yeah, that's right. We got to wait until January for that. So we got a full slate of stuff. Did you?
Elden Ring wins Game of the Year.
Oh man,
I got the Kojima announced his next game at the Game Awards.
You guys can't spoil it. You can't spoil it. But if you want to know what our predictions are, stay tuned. Next week we'll do this thing, same bat time, same bat channel. Game Buddies are coming up. What's the best of 2022? You won't know until we do, because we're going to figure it out on the show. I don't know.
We'll do it live.
That's right. We'll just throw it out. Guys, that is going to do it for this episode of your Game Bytes Show podcast. Thank you for being with this week, and we will see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.